Today, we are going to delve deep into stories marked by manipulation, betrayal, and even murders. In this episode, we will uncover the journeys of some of the most infamous female figures in the Bible, revealing the crimes they committed and the historical context surrounding their tales. If you are interested in this topic, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, as this helps us continue bringing content like this to you. Taking third place, we have Herodias, one of the most cruel women mentioned in the Bible. Before we understand her actions, it is essential to contextualize what involved John the Baptist. John was a brave and charismatic prophet known for preaching along the banks of the Jordan River. He was in the habit of denouncing people's sins and encouraging repentance, earning him a large following due to his impactful message and dedicated life in the desert. Conflicts arose when John publicly criticized the marriage between Herod Antipas and Herodias. Herod, who governed the regions of Galilee and Perea, had divorced his legitimate wife to marry Herodias, who was previously married to Herod's brother, Philip. This marriage was not only morally controversial but also a direct violation of the Jewish laws of the time. Without hesitation, John the Baptist openly condemned this union, highlighting its moral implications and challenging the authorities. Herodias, feeling threatened and offended by John's words, began planning his elimination. Herod, on the other hand, although initially seeing John as a prophet, could not ignore the discomfort caused by his criticisms. However, pressured politically and influenced by Herodias, Herod ultimately ordered John's arrest. Even imprisoned, John the Baptist remained a symbol of resistance, staying true to his principles despite the challenges. His imprisonment represented, in a way, a clash between divine morality and human ambitions, becoming a significant turning point in history. However, for Herodias, John's imprisonment was not enough. She wanted to ensure his execution. The decisive moment of this plot occurred during a luxurious banquet organized by Herod. Herodias instructed her daughter, Salome, to dance charmingly for Herod, leading him to promise to grant her any request. Seizing the moment, Salome, guided by her mother's advice, asked for the head of John the Baptist on a platter. Herod, bound by his oath and fearing the reaction of his guests, decided to grant the request. And so, the brave prophet who dared to challenge Herod and Herodias was finally executed. In second place among the most infamous women in the Bible, we find Athaliah. Athaliah's story unfolds in the corridors of power in Judah. As the daughter of Ahab and Jezebel, Athaliah's lineage was deeply connected to a period of great political and spiritual instability. Her son, Ahaziah, took the throne in the northern kingdom, but about a year later, both he and Joram, the leader of Israel, were killed by Jehu. With her son's death, none of Athaliah's descendants were old enough to assume the throne of Judah, creating an opportunity for her to consolidate her power. Athaliah made a bold and risky move to take control of the throne, defying established norms and traditions. Her ambition knew no bounds. Once in power, Athaliah saw the lineage of David as a direct threat to her reign, as this lineage held a significant role in Jewish tradition, symbolizing the divine promise of a Messiah. Determined to secure her position, Athaliah took drastic measures, ordering the elimination of all descendants from the house of David who could pose a threat to her throne. Her brutality included a series of coldly calculated murders to eradicate any potential rival. However, her plans were thwarted by Jehoiada, the high priest. Jehoiada managed to hide Joash, the only surviving descendant of David, in the temple. With this courageous act, he ensured the continuity of the Davidic lineage. Years later, when Joash reached the right age, Jehoiada organized a public ceremony to crown him king. The people, realizing the imminent restoration of David's line, became inflamed at the prospect of a new ruler. Athaliah, sensing the threat, tore her garments and shouted, "Treason! Treason!" But the people, led by Jehoiada and supporting the legitimate restoration of the Davidic lineage, were not deceived. Athaliah was captured outside the temple, taken to the palace, and executed, thus ending her reign of violence and intrigue, as recorded in 2 Kings 11 verse 16. Finally, in first place, we have Jezebel, the most ruthless woman mentioned in the Bible. Jezebel was a Phoenician princess who married Ahab, king of Israel, establishing a powerful political alliance. However, her influence extended far beyond her marriage, as she brought with her the worship of Baal, a pagan god, promoting idolatry in Israel. The union between Jezebel and Ahab brought a wave of corruption and negative influences to the kingdom. Jezebel was a fervent devotee of the cult of Baal, promoting the construction of altars and temples dedicated to this pagan deity. Under her leadership, idolatry spread, leading the people of Israel away from their religious roots. Jezebel embodied corruption and manipulation. Her rule not only encouraged the worship of foreign gods, but also unleashed acts of brutality against those who dared to oppose her. She ordered the execution of several prophets of Jehovah and relentlessly pursued the prophet Elijah, whose life was endangered by the queen. Additionally, Jezebel used her authority to fund hundreds of Baal's prophets, using state resources to promote this foreign religion. One of the most notorious episodes of her cruelty is the story of Naboth, a righteous man who owned a vineyard next to the royal palace. When Naboth refused to sell his property to Ahab, even after being offered a fair price, it became a problem. Jezebel, noticing Ahab's dissatisfaction, devised a cruel plan to fulfill the king's desire. She conspired to falsely incriminate Naboth, gathering false witnesses to accuse him of blasphemy against God and the king. As a result, Naboth was condemned and stoned to death under false accusations. This episode illustrates the cruelty and moral corruption of Jezebel during her reign alongside Ahab. However, divine justice was not delayed. The prophet Elijah confronted the couple, proclaiming God's judgment for Naboth's death and warning that Jezebel would not escape God's punishment. Elijah prophesied that dogs would lick her blood in the city of Jezreel. Later, after Ahab's death, his son Jehu took the throne. On a mission appointed by God, Jehu confronted Jezebel, who attempted to seduce him with her cunning but failed. Jezebel was thrown from a window by a royal officer, and her body was devoured by dogs, fulfilling Elijah's prophecy. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let us know in the comments below which city you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue supporting us. A big hug, and may God be with you all.